Didn't Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say in mutawatir narration, narrated from Shia, narrated from Sunni, both of them have said that the Prophet said, the person who dies and has not known the Imam of his time is the same as one who died in the age of ignorance. That means he died without Islam. Very important to know who our Imam is. And it's not the Imam of the masjid. No, it's the Imam that Allah has appointed. Who is this Imam? How do we get to know him? Did Allah mention that we must obey these Imams? Yes, Surah 4, Ayat 59. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, ata'ayyullaha wa atiyu rasula wa ulul amr minkum. Believers, obey Allah and His Messenger and those in the charge of authority amongst you. We see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded us to obey Him. Then He commanded us to obey Rasul, the Messenger, and He linked the obedience of ulul amr minkum, those charged in authority. It is linked with the obedience of Rasulullah, and this obedience is an absolute obedience for us to follow them without any conditions, meaning that they must be infallible, because Allah would never command us to obey someone who made sins and mistakes. It's not commanding us to obey any ruler who's ruling amongst us. No, it's commanding us to obey the rulers that Rasulullah appointed on the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It would be against wisdom for Allah to appoint and command us to obey someone unconditionally who made mistakes, whereas we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all wise. We see in other places in Holy Quran where Allah commanded us to follow fallible beings, such as our parents. Allah commanded us to obey our parents. It had conditions. We see that obedience was not absolute like it was in this ayat. This ayat just said, وَأَتِيُوا اللَّهَ وَأَتِيُوا الرَّسُولَ وَأُولُو الْأَمْرِ مِنْكُمْ. No except, no illa something something. No, it's absolute obedience. Whereas Allah, when He tells us to obey our parents, it has conditions. It says, obey them, but if they command you to worship other than Allah, then don't obey them in this. So we see that these ulul amr minkum are infallible ones that Allah has commanded us to follow. And their obedience is linked to obedience of Rasulullah. In the same way that we would obey Rasulullah, we need to obey them.